Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast. My name is Paul. I am the Country Hipster. You were just listening to the Unholy Four from Charlottesville, Virginia, and their mega hit song called Dirty Knife. Check out the Unholy Four on Spotify and Apple Music and Instagram and Bandcamp and wherever you can find the Unholy Four. It's kind of like the A-Team. If you need them, you'll find them. So look for the Unholy Four. So we're going a little bit out of order here. So we're doing another random record here. Today is Thursday the 21st of March. Next week we will be back to normal with our episode that we pulled on at the end of our 50th episode a couple weeks ago, which is Neutral Milk Hotel in an Airplane ... I'm not doing the whole title. So Adam will be back. So I want to welcome here Megan, who is an Irish dancer, fiddle player extraordinaire of the Natterjacks in Philadelphia, and a fan of the Country Hipster Podcast. And so the reason I'm going a little bit out of order is because I got to get into the business as well, and the business involves Megan, because tomorrow night, Megan and I will be playing at the Hamilton AOH, Hamilton, New Jersey, on Cruiser Road, Kuser Road in Hamilton, New Jersey. We'll be playing there from, I think it's like 5:30 to 10 or 6 to 10. I don't know, something like that.
I'm hoping you said 6 because I got to get out of school first.
I'm pretty sure it's 6. Either way, whatever. We'll get there and they'll like us to do it. So you got to check us out tomorrow night at the Hamilton AOH. Saturday night, I am at Tirna Nog on Hamilton Avenue in Trent, New Jersey, which is the home base of our official bartender of the Country Hipster Podcast, who will also be on next week's episode of Neutral Milk Hotel, because that is a booze and vinyl. And then Sunday the 24th, I am at Wycombe Vineyards in Furlong, Pennsylvania, from 1 to 5. We'll say 1 to 5. So you can check me out there as well. Now, Megan, you are obviously a very busy and talented artist yourself. So what stuff do you have going on besides getting to play with me?
Busy, I will agree with. Talented might be up for debate. Saturday, we are playing at the Kelly Center in Havertown.
And that's the Natterjacks?
It is the Natterjacks. Okay. So it is a full band event. Mm-hmm. We're listed on the same bill as Alice Marie and John O'Callahan.
Oh, very nice.
I'm not sure. I'm assuming that we're going to play first and let the professionals do what they do.
You never know.
Saturday the 29th, we have a Natty Light gig also at Hamilton AOH.
Okay, so what is Natty Light? And also, guys, check, what is the Natterjacks website?
We're, I think, on all of the social media except for TikTok. We technically have a website, but I don't think anybody has used that website since we started as the 6 of us in our current iteration in 2019.
It's funny because on the 50th episode, we were talking about Birmingham6.com, and Adam looked it up and said, he's like, well, your 2020 schedule is up here. So we do the same thing with the website, but we do the same social. So Natterjacks, Natter Jacks. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I know Instagram we're listed as Natterjacks Philly.
Okay.
There's another one of us out there someplace.
I think really?
Like Washington State.
Okay.
When we were coming up with the name, we happened to find, oh wait, there's they exist already. Oops.
We ran well, are they another Irish band at least?
I don't even remember. Kevin found them. Kevin came up with the name, and then Kevin found them. Okay. And now we exist.
Because we had a similar situation with Birmingham 6. Mm-hmm. So I named the band Birmingham 6, SIX, after the Pogue song, Birmingham 6, Streets of Sorrow. Mm-hmm. And also because of the Birmingham 6, who were the men in Ireland, the 6 men who were wrongly convicted of the Birmingham pub bombings. Mm-hmm. And eventually 20 years later were let go and exonerated for what they did, or what they didn't do, what they were accused of doing. So I named the band Birmingham 6, and we're doing our things, and then I'm looking up some stuff, and there was another Birmingham 6 with the number 6, but they ended up being a Danish industrial band from the 90s.
Oh, that's interesting.
who were no longer around, but were still like kind of big, like they were still a big name. So when we realized this was back in 2006, and it was just at that point, it was just me, Barry, and Brian in the band, and I just said, listen, if anybody comes up with a better name, cool. Otherwise, we're just rolling with it. So sometimes when like people who don't like know us, if we're playing like venues or working with people we don't really know, they go to tag Birmingham 6 on things, and they tag the 1990s Danish band, and I never correct them because I think it's fucking great. I'm like, great, yeah, cool. That's your playlist. Yeah, so we've done the same thing.
So yeah, Natty Light is any iteration of us that is not all six.
Okay.
I think this particular iteration is me, Josh, and Kevin. Reasonably certain. But that's Saturday the 29th. We have a couple of benefits here, there, and everywhere. My dance school is running a trivia night Friday, April 26th.
And what dance school was that?
I dance for the Cummins School out in Jenkintown.
Okay, very nice, very cool.
Yeah. We're having another fundraiser for the dancers Friday, May 10th. We have a couple dates at the Inlet for the full band over the summer. So
sweet.
Always busy, always
very
something.
Cool, very cool. That is a good thing. That is a good thing. All right, so since this is your first time here, okay, we got to grill you. Got to give you the full interview. So here we go. So what is your favorite part of? Well, first of all, you've heard of the Country Hipster podcast and you listened to it.
I might have once or twice.
Okay, good. Okay, so what is your favorite part of the Country Hipster podcast?
I like that it has made me consider other music than what I would typically listen to. I think I briefly mentioned this at some point, but I had started, after listening to a couple episodes, making a list of all of the albums that you've talked about, listening to them on my own.
Nice.
And I had initially called this the unofficial under 30 rankings until I realized that you guys are going to continue this and then I'm not going to be under 30. Well, so we've updated it to the unofficial Gen Z rankings.
Okay.
Because that one will apply, and I am the very first year of existence that counts as Gen Z, which is a little uncomfortable.
Very good. So with that in mind, what is your favorite episode so far? And also, when you finish that list, which we have like another 3 years of season 1 to go, you'll have to put that list together and we'll have to post it on our social media as well.
I love that idea.
But you can check out the Country Hipster podcast on Facebook as well as Instagram and TikTok. So we are on the TikTok.
Where I have gotten to so far, my favorite has been Bright Eyes.
Which Bright Eyes? Because we had 2.
I'm wide awake this morning.
Okay, all right, cool. That was like our pilot, our first episode. That wasn't the pilot. Okay, that was episode 1. All right, good.
Yeah, it was pretty early. My notes were, they sound kind of like 21 Pilots before 21 Pilots was a thing, but also a little bit like Death Cab for Cutie at the same time.
Okay, all right. I kind of agree with the second part, but the first part not so much. But okay.
Yeah. Honestly, it could have been the day that I listened to it. I was just like, this strikes me as 21 Pilots because whatever it was that was happening that day.
Cool, very good. So, and also you are in the Ottsville Record Garage. So, could you just tell people how incredibly, would you get lost in the 3 million square feet
100%.
of the
it's massive.
Ottsville Record Garage?
You need a map to figure out where you're at.
Exactly. I think you actually got here at 1 o'clock this afternoon. It took you that long to get to this spot to record.
It was quite the journey.
Yes, nice. Now, do you collect vinyl?
That's an odd answer, actually. So, I indirectly inherited some vinyl.
Okay.
And I know nothing about any of the albums that are in the pile.
Nice.
I have not heard of... No, that's a lie. There are 2 copies of the same... I think it's Run DMC.
Oh, ooh.
I have 2 copies of the same one.
Really?
And I have this stack...
Because I'll take one of them off your hand.
All yours. I do not have use for 2 of the same Run DMC album.
Nice.
So
love Run DMC.
How I came to have this in my possession was my dad at the time was working as campus president at a trade school in Delaware, and they were going through closets and offices trying to clean up or something, and they found in a random closet in this office building a stack of vinyl.
Nice.
My dad brought it home and was trying to figure out, what do I do with this? I happened to come home and saw that they were there and thought they were his. Mm-hmm. And he says, no, mine are still in the milk crate in the electrical closet in the basement. I was going to just give these to Goodwill or something. I'm like, you could, or I happen to have this friend who sells vinyl.
Nice.
I could bring them up to the Ottsville Record Garage.
I like you.
Which I have not done yet after having this conversation 6 or 8 times.
That's all right.
But so those are the current vinyl I have in my possession. I have unofficially claimed my dad's milk crate full of vinyl at the appropriate time when they can become mine.
There you go.
We have a joke in our family that if there's something you want in someone's will, you write a sticky note with your name on it and stick it on that thing.
There's nothing wrong with that.
We're pretty sure under the desk in my grandmom's dining room there's a sticky note with my uncle's name on it, and my mom has already claimed the stainless steel stew pot that was her grandfather's, and I have laid claim to my mom's CDs and my dad's vinyls, and my sisters are like, you can have those, we want nothing to do with it. That's all you.
So here's what you want to do though. You want to up the ante. You actually want to, you don't just put one sticky note, put one on each one. So that way they can't be like, no, I want that one. No, that's got my sticky note. That way, or if you just put it on the crate, they can take all the records and be like, you got the crate. Do you know what I mean? You gotta, when it comes to like just because I've been through it, when it comes through families and death and wills and all that, man, you gotta be ready to fight. You straight gotta be ready to like fucking throat punch somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we had always said that like my one of my mom's brothers lives the closest to my grandmom's house. So we figured, well, he's the executor anyway. He's going to get there first, but we just have to hope he doesn't change the locks before the rest of us get there. But now I live in her house.
There you go. Don't move. Just stay there.
Exactly. I have first claim to whatever.
There you go. So what are some of your favorite genres of music? Like what do you like to listen to on the regular?
That's hard. My taste in music is a weird compilation of a lot of things.
Okay.
Because for the longest time when I was a kid, my mom would drive me around playing 2 Blackthorn albums and the AOH 87 fundraiser album from 1998, and a couple of mixed CDs that my dad made her while they were dating. And when I was a little older, my mom was driving me and a couple friends to dance class from Wilmington all the way out to Drexel Hill. And we would listen to either pop radio or 92.5 and whatever we could get through the static in all of the ridiculous back roads she would take to get to class.
Right.
Then my dad would drive me home from my friend's house. My dad is where I got the good taste in music from.
Okay. All right.
It was a lot of everything.
Cool.
I got some Eminem, I got Frankie Valli, I got Green Day, I got Nirvana, I got the album we're going to talk about today. Okay. Newfound Glory was in there, and it took me a very long time to realize that Newfound Glory did not write King of Wishful Thinking. Nor did they write The Promise. Okay. Because they were the versions that I knew, because that's what he played off of his iPod plugged into the aux cord.
Yes. Okay, cool. So you're very, very well rounded. You're all over there. Okay, cool. Yes, that's good. It's always good to be, have a lot of like different genres to be into and not just like one thing. It's because it just gets boring. Yeah. So we are a drinking podcast with the Vinyl Record Problem. So what are you drinking there?
What even do I have? I have a Down East Blackberry.
Nice. I am drinking. Excuse me. On episode 50, I had said that afternoon I had played at Bitch and Kitten Brewery in Marsville. And I brought a couple beers, and Adam didn't show up because a couple of them were supposed to be for him. So I'm drinking those beers now. And this is called Catter Up, which is their baseball lager. Like we had mentioned on episode 50, this is all like everything's cat themed there. Obviously, it's Bitch and Kitten. And they also mentioned they have like... what's it called? They mentioned how they have rescue cats on their labels, and this one here, you can see it right there. You guys can't see it. But
He's cute. Somebody adopt him.
Yes, this one is supporting a women's animal shelter, and their mission is to ensure that animals are treated humanely and with kindness. And so this is Hemi, and Hemi is a friendly 7-year-old male domestic short hair. He's it's like black and white. He's a tuxedo cat, so he's got like the big white chest, and everything else is black. He's got a little stripe of white up his nose there. He's very mellow, so he would do great in a home with other pets and children. Hemi is diabetic, so he is on a specialized diet and daily meds. He has been patiently waiting for his fur if you are ever home. Could that be you? And you scan the QR code and learn more about Hemi and his friends. So, you should stop by Bitch and Kitten, especially if you believe in animal rescue and want to know about like some cute little kitties that you can adopt, and buy one of their beers and scan the code and find out who your next best friend is. It's funny, too, because it mentioned that he's diabetic. He's 7 years old and he's diabetic, which means that people were feeding him shit food from the time he was born. So, like, that crap, like the Meow Mix and all that kind of shit, that shit's horrible for your cats. It's absolutely hard. It's literally, like, and this is why the cats end up being diabetic, is, like, it's literally you're feeding them treats. And it's okay to give cats cat treats every now and then, but they need better food. They're still animals, so people feed them these shitty foods, and then they end up with diabetes, and they wonder why, and they got to go on these specialized diets, and that's probably why he was surrendered, because his diet got too expensive. It's like, well, if you just fed them good food, he probably doesn't get diabetes. But at any rate, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I know way too much about fucking cats and cat rescue than I ever wanted to know.
My aunt's cats are fancy enough that she feeds them baby food.
Okay, all right, cool. So we do what is it? I think it's like called Call of the Wild, but it's like it's basically it's a better food. I forget all the ins and outs of it, but it's a better food. And we have 3 cats, and this is what they get. And like, I'm not giving them shitty food. Like every now and then, like my one cat, Alistair's like 13 years old, and he acts like he's like 5 years old because he's been eating good food his whole life. So, so that's it's all right. That's I'm not gonna get on my soapbox anymore. I'll get off of it because that's actually not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about cats and cat food, even though this Catter Up baseball lager is fucking delicious. This really is a good like summer beer. Like I could sit there and sit out on the deck of the Ottsville Record Garage and just eat it up. But we are here to talk about Dizzy Up the Girl by the Goo Goo Dolls. So we're going to go through the factoids first. I got the factoids here. And here we go. So Dizzy Up the Girl is the 6th studio album for the Goo Goo Dolls. It was released on September 22nd, 1998. It is their most successful album to date. Contributing to that being their most successful album is the hit song Iris, not Irish. Iris, which was included in the soundtrack of City of Angels. If you are unsure what the movie City of Angels is, it's the one where Nicolas Cage stalks Meg Ryan from atop a streetlight. Is basically what it comes down to. It's the truth. That's basically, he's an angel and like looks down. He's like, I want to be human to be with that girl. So basically, Nicolas Cage is an angel stalker who wants to be with this woman. So that is what Iris was basically made big for, because when the soundtrack was released, Iris immediately jumped to number 1 on the Hot 100 and stayed there for 18 weeks. Wow. The album has 3 top 25 hits, that being Iris, Slide, and Black Balloon. Black Balloon made up the 24. Slide, I think, was like number 9, but Iris spent 18 weeks at number 1. And because of that, this album went 5 times platinum in the U.S., selling over 5 million copies, got 3 Grammy nominations, and also sold like hundreds and hundreds of copies worldwide, probably over 1 million worldwide, beyond what it sold in the U.S. This is another one of these albums. I always think this is kind of cool and kind of speaks to the greatness of an album. So this was on the Billboard Weekly charts for 98 or 98 and 99. It did peak at 15. But it shows up on the year-end charts for Billboard for 1998, 1999, and 2000. So 3 years in a row after its release, it shows up on the Billboard year-end charts. In 98, now keep in mind, it was released in September of 98. So it still hit 162 on the top 200 of the year-end charts. In 99, it jumped all the way up to 29. And then in 2000, it was at 121. So it like went up and down, but like, for it to jump onto the top 200 of the year-end Billboard charts with only being out for 3 months is pretty impressive. There is, and this is one of the things that I thought was kind of cool, there are some additional personnel that is on the recording with a couple different instruments, but basically the Goo Goo Dolls are a trio. Which when you listen to their stuff, like, I mean, maybe I've never seen them live. Maybe they're maybe it is a studio product, but there's a lot going on in these songs, and for a trio, they don't sound empty. It definitely sounds very full. So those are the main factoids there. So I ask you, why did you choose this album, and why do you like it?
So part of my dad's drive home from dance class soundtrack would periodically include Iris and Slide. Mm-hmm. And 12, 13-year-old me really liked Iris. Mm-hmm. So when I got to college, the car that I was driving was old enough that I didn't have an aux port to plug my phone or my iPod in, but it did have a CD player.
Nice.
So when I was bored with listening to the 5 songs that would play on the radio repeatedly all day, 92.5 is notorious for picking like 5 songs, and that's all they play for like a month and a half straight, and you eventually get sick of them.
It's commercial radio in general, yeah.
So I was going to Penn State Abington. There's a Target 5 seconds away from campus. Mm-hmm. So in between classes or before I would go to work, or I just got bored and didn't feel like going home yet, I would go to Target. Which is a very, very, very bad idea. It's yes. Target. You do not go to Target planning what you're gonna buy. Yeah. Target will tell you when you get there. And more often than not, Target would tell me you need more CDs.
Oh, okay.
And I really tried to be good. And I would buy like the discount ones that were marked for like $5 or whatever. And I happened to be on the discount side after having also bought Panic at the Disco's Death of a Bachelor, Halsey's Badlands, I think I bought a 21, but yeah, I bought Blurry Face by 21 Pilots. Mm-hmm. In that same batch of things, I wandered to the discount section and saw, oh, Goo Goo Dolls. Dad used to play them. Oh, look, this is the album that has the 2 songs he played. I'll probably like the rest of the album. I'm just gonna, it's $5. Yeah. Why would I not buy it? It's $5. And I ended up really liking the rest of the album. Okay. So when you guys mentioned on, I think it was this Sam I Am episode, about how there's a direct line between Sam I Am and Goo Goo Dolls, and well, do they even have any other songs besides Iris and Slide? And I thought, oh, but they do. Just you wait. Well,
yeah, they have Name, which I forgot came out before this album even came out.
It did, and they had I can't remember what it was, but they had another one that came out when I was in high school that for the longest time I didn't realize was them.
It was Hey Jealousy, right? That's actually
That's
Gin
Blossoms.
Yeah, I know. But there was a time, and I'll get into it later, there was actually a time where I actually could not tell the difference between the Gin Blossoms and the Goo Goo Dolls. I thought they were the same band. So, yeah. I was like, those are interchangeable. I don't know what, you know what I mean? And I do not like that Hey Jealousy song. I've played it in my solo shows, and when I was briefly filling in on bass for Jameson Celtic Rock, they played it as well. But now I'm not a big Hey Jealousy fan.
Josh does a pretty good job of it with when he and Brian play.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna bother me that I can't find what that other song is.
It's okay. We can figure it out.
Yeah, they had one other song that came out when I was in high school, and after having bought this album, once I had access to Spotify and some headphones, periodically I'll like obsessively listen to the entire discography for a particular artist. Mm-hmm. So I did go through the entire Goo Goo Dolls discography and really liked it, to the point where I did almost go to see them live.
Oh, nice.
Except the tickets were like $1,000 by the time I looked at it. Yeah. And I texted my dad like, hey, you used to play them when we were driving home from dance, and I saw they were playing in Camden, but tickets are stupid expensive. And he's like, yeah, I'm not really a concert person anyway, but I appreciate you trying to do the whole bonding thing.
Appreciate the thought. It's the thought that counts. It really does. It does. So I am a concert person. So if one of my kids was like, hey, I want to go to this concert, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So, but Jack, who our producer and editor and director, like, he does not like to go to concerts. So there's been like a couple things that have like come like nearby, and I'm like, hey, you want to go to this? He's like, no, I fucking hate concerts. I'm like, okay, all right.
Oh.
I'm like, we don't have to go. Like, I just thought maybe you'd want to go see Young Gravy and BB No Money since you like them. And he's like, no. I'm like, all right, cool, we won't go. So we didn't go.
Yeah, I am a big concert person.
Yeah, I enjoy going to concerts. So I'm going to a few this spring, so I'm pretty excited about. So what are your general thoughts about this album?
Initially, so with it being St. Patty's season, this kind of got put on the back burner listening wise until this morning. I got in the car to go to work, and I hit play, and it was perfectly timed that the way the first song opens is just that like hard electric guitar, and I hit play as I'm pulling out of my driveway, and I'm like, ooh, it's like the beginning of a movie where somebody's like leaving to go to work. Like, this is perfect. Like, how do you not get a little bit hyped for the rest of your day with that kind of electric guitar?
Yeah.
And because it had been a while since I had listened to it, it was kind of hard not to sing with the tracks. It was a struggle. There's a handful of songs that I feel like the way the composition is and the way the lyrics are structured, it kind of hits you in that like nostalgia kind of a I didn't experience this but I wish I had. And I say all the time, like, I should be like 50, 60 years old with the types of music I listen to. Like, I should have been 20 something when this came out.
I was 20 something when this came out.
Oof.
Thanks for making me feel old, Megan.
Sorry.
Thanks. I'll give you one better. I was 20 something married with a kid. So, but go on. Go on.
I was at least born when this came out.
Yes, that's good.
So there were because I had gotten that sort of a feeling, like I went to look up some of the lyrics and realized that the disc is not actually in that case. It got left in the zipper case that I had in my car when I had a CD player that worked.
Right.
So as I was looking things up, some of the songs that I really liked, like Broadway, had that kind of an interesting nostalgia-ish kind of a feeling. And then I realized, oh, that's about their lead singer growing up with an alcoholic father.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't
lost
look that
tab
deeply
too.
into it.
No, I went to see like, oh, these are interesting lyrics. Like the one part of the chorus is, see the young man sitting in the old man's bar waiting on his turn to die. And I'm like, interesting kind of a context. It's like I couldn't even come up with exactly what it was, but it was a neat line. Yeah,
I think it's a great line, and like I've been that guy. So, you know, like I love old man bars, and I always did. So, you know. Yeah, so I get that.
So I had looked it up, and he's like, he grew up in like a not so great area of Buffalo, and like everybody in the neighborhood was the same guy, where like dad was the alcoholic, and he would take him to the bar and give him quarters for whatever arcade game was there, and he would sit and drink. And the guy grew up and noticed like all of his friends were replacing their fathers at the same bar doing the same thing, and he's like, I don't want that life for myself.
Right. Yeah.
And that song came out of it.
Nice.
Black Balloon was another one. I love the song. It's so pretty. And oh, that one's about heroin.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
There's a girl who's an addict, and her boyfriend's trying to save her from the addiction. What was the other one? I kind of got the same vibe from All Eyes on Me and Acoustic No. 3, but so I can't find anything about them.
All Eyes on Me, I was very disappointed that it was not Tupac. That's a Tupac album, All Eyes on Me, just so you know. So
Oops.
It's all
that one's probably in Dad's milk crate.
There you go. Oh, man. I need another beer. Do you need anything? Are you okay?
No, I'm good.
All right. So I am switching it up. I have the 6 Point Brewery from Brooklyn, New York. This is the Crisp, which is their pills. And it's very good. I've had it before. I have not checked. I am horrible with checking in. Are you on Untapped?
No.
Do you know what it is?
Only because of Adam.
Okay, yeah. So I am horrible at checking in beer. Excuse me, on Untapped. So I have not checked this in, but you can follow me on Untapped if you're on Untapped, HPaul3, and you can check in your beers from the Ottsville Record Garage. But it's a good Pilsner. It's a very good Pilsner. Sometimes Pilsners are a little soapy in flavor, and this is not soapy. Yeah, it gets like a little soapy. Some of them.
Like a cilantro with the wrong genetics kind of?
I guess. Yeah, I fucking hate cilantro too.
You probably have the fancy gene.
What's the fancy gene?
Oh, there's
What's
a particular...
this? Aren't you like a scientist?
I am a science teacher.
Say, yeah.
I am a high school biology teacher. I'll put a pin in that for another story. But there is a particular percentage of people that have a certain genetic mutation that makes cilantro taste like soap.
Weird.
It's like 25% of people.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if it maybe it is soap. I just know I hate cilantro. Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
So I could be like special, like not needing a helmet special. Like there could be a different type of special.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. My put a pin in the teacher thing story was that
that's fucking right. I forgot you actually made us an educational podcast.
I did.
Yes.
I did. Thank you, Evan, for remembering the slicing of fingers story on test day.
Yeah.
Thank you for actually listening to things that I say. Yeah, I was listening to the album during my planning period while I was grading tests and trying to decipher handwriting on short answer questions. And the bell rang for the end of the day, and our school's policy is that if you fail a test, you are required to go meet with that teacher and go over the things you got wrong. Followed by you have the opportunity to retest the content you got wrong and bring your grade up to at least, at most, a 70.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
So we're trying to prevent them from academically drowning.
But you know what? I appreciate that because you know what? If you're, and I always found this kind of like a flaw of education in general. It's like, well, you fucked up, so you fail and you can't fucking do anything about it. Whereas in the real world, like, I fucked up my job. Okay, cool. Let's go over our training again and like this. Okay, cool. This is what we're gonna do right, and let's fix this. Do you know what I mean? Where you don't get that, and it's like, well, it's like almost like it's just not real world. I mean, unless you're like in like some other like crazy like, I mean, if you're a doctor, like, oh no, I fucked up. I cut this guy's artery.
Yeah, that's a little different scenario.
Different. But most people aren't doctors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just like fucking schmuck supply chain managers, like I was. You know what I mean? But anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
So bell rings. I had hit pause on my Spotify web player as I was grading, and as soon as the bell rings and I hit pause, kid walks in, test in hand. Miss, can we go through this fast? Because I gotta go. My mom's waiting for me in the parking lot. Relax. Immediately followed by 8 more kids. Miss, can we go fast? I gotta go. So the first kid who walked in comes around to the end of my desk with his test so we can go over things, and he's like, looking at my screen, the Goo Goo Dolls. Oh, that's like all of the songs? Why? Like, so I have this friend who does a podcast, talks about music. I was invited to be on the podcast, and this is the album that we were talking about, so I was listening to it before you guys got here. And the 8 kids that walked in right as I said, I'm going to be on a podcast. Miss, you're going to be on a podcast? That's so cool.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm not exactly a boring adult all the time, only when I have to tell you that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Then I have to be boring.
You say mitochondria, and I just immediately go to Star Wars. Oh, those are metachlorians.
Yeah.
So...
At least had the first letter right.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Thank you for correcting me on my Star Wars stuff there. That's very nice. So I will tell you, like, back to that too. I think that's cool that they did that. I had a teacher. This was I think it was my freshman year of high school. It was world history. His name was Mr. Safrizi, and so I went into the to the test, and like I spent like the 2 weeks where he's preparing for the test, like fucking sleeping. And he was the type of teacher, he's like, I'm not fucking waking you. I'll fuck you.
Yeah.
You want to sleep? Go to sleep. I don't care. Don't do your homework. I don't give a fuck. Like, you know, here's the test. Do what you say. So I knew absolutely nothing. Like, he hands the test out, and I didn't know fucking anything that was on there. And I'm reading, I'm just like, wait, what the fuck is this? Did we even talk about this? And I'm just like, all right, whatever. So I put my name on it, and you know, when with him, you finish your test, you just brought it up, and so I'm sitting, I look at it for 5 minutes, I put my name on the test, I bring it up, and I just put it down. I'm like, Give me 0. I don't fucking know any of this shit. And I just went and sat down, and and he's like, what? I'm just like, I haven't fucking paid attention. I don't know any of this shit. So like, give me a 0. I earned a 0, and I went and I sat down, and like about like 20 minutes later, he just comes over to me, hands me the test. He's like, bring this back on Monday. I was like, fuck. So like I went home and just like went, obviously looked up everything and he basically gave me an open book test. So I brought it back, but it was cool because like at that point on, I actually paid attention to his class for the rest of the year. I'm like, all right, you did me a fucking solid there. Like that's cool. Like, so I did actually pay attention. Even 14-year-old Paul was like not that much of an asshole. I didn't realize like you just gave me a pass. Like let me I at least returned the favor. And I did pretty good in his class for the rest of the year. But no, it was pretty cool. I thought that was cool. And I think that's cool that you you guys are giving the kids the opportunity to bring their grades back up. That is cool. And I'm going to say that's the influence of the educational podcast called the Country Hipster Podcast. So there you go. So I will say real quick that I actually wrote off the Goo Goo Dolls in the 90s. Like they were part of that alt rock shit that was coming out where it was Hootie and the Blowfish, Matchbox 20, the Gin Blossoms, Third Eye Blind, like all those bands were all coming around the same time. And I put fucking Slide and Iris, because that was the shit that I heard. Slide and Iris, I'm like, this is all that bullshit that I don't want to fucking hear. But this album as a whole is fucking solid. This album is really good. It surprised me. Like the best songs on this album, honestly, are either the lesser hits or like the non-hits. Yeah. Like I think it's great that like Slide and Iris are so like popular and whatnot, but they're really not the best. They're not the best songs on this album. You know what I mean? They're definitely not my favorites. Like when you have like songs that jump out at me specifically, are like January Friend, Am I Gone, Extra Pale. I looked it up too. Maybe I just might like Robbie Takak, is how you say his name?
I don't know.
Takak? I don't know. But he wrote the 3 songs that I like, the January Friend, Am I Gone, and Extra Band. I think he sings on them too.
Oh, so, is that who that is?
Yeah. Okay. So, but no, there's definitely punkiness. There's like an indie rock feel to it. There's emo-ish type of stuff in there, like how you were just saying about like the lyrics, which like I didn't look that deeply into it. But I did get like an emo-ish type of feel, not like a full late 90s early 2000s emo, but you definitely get that. And but even like those songs are just still fucking catchy as hell. You know what I mean? They're just not big hits. So I actually was really fucking like the first time I listened, I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing, huh? Like I remember even when you said it, I'm just like, all right, I mean, I did invite you on, I guess. And what we do on the random episodes is because we are breaking our regular format of Mine and Adam's 25. I asked my guest, hey, pick a fucking record and we'll talk about it. So I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. We're doing the Goo Goo Dolls. Great. Did I do this?
It took me a little while to pick something too, because I wanted to pick something that was gonna make you go, what? Huh?
Yeah, no.
You have picked that.
No, it wasn't so much that. It was more like, oh, that? It wasn't that you picked.
Yeah.
Oh, like, wait, you're grabbing this record? Like, oh, you know what I mean? It was more like, I'm gonna do the Goo Goo Dolls, huh? Thanks, Megan. I guess.
You are welcome.
Yes, yeah, but no, this is really good. I mean, I actually forgot about because they had 5 songs that were released on this. They had Slide, Iris, Dizzy, Broadway, and Black Balloon were the 5 songs released between when the album was released in '98 and 2000. I actually forgot about Broadway and Black Balloon. I actually completely forgot about those songs because like even now on the radio when you hear the Goo Goo Dolls, you hear Iris, you hear Name, you hear Slide. Those are the songs you hear. And then like as I'm going through this, I'm like, oh fuck, I remember them. And I remember thinking back to like 99, 2000 and I do remember hearing them and being like, oh wait, what is this? This isn't bad. Oh fuck, it's the Goo Goo Dolls? Fuck them. You know what I mean? So like, because I was very, very stubborn in what I listened to, but definitely in retrospect, like they're good songs. They're Black Balloon and Broadway. I would even go so far as to say that they're better songs than Slide and Iris, even though they didn't chart as well. But they're really good. They are really good.
I figured it out.
Okay, what did you figure?
The one from 2013. was on the radio that I didn't realize was them for the longest time was Come to Me.
Yeah, I'd have to hear it. And I probably heard it, but I'd probably have to hear it to say, like, okay, you know what I mean?
It's a good one. It has a similar vibe, like, musically to, like, Iris Black Balloon sort of a sound, but the lyrics are not dark and depressing.
Okay. All right, there you go. But like how I said earlier, I even like I kind of wrote off besides the other bands that like I lumped them in. Like I seriously, the Gin Blossoms and the Goo Goo Dolls in 1999, 90, 2000, they were fucking interchangeable. They were the fucking same band.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? They all wrote the theme to Friends, and so
I had a note in here actually that Full Forever sounds like it would be a TV show theme from around that time.
Exactly.
Or either that or it would be like the background music for the like Adventure Day montage in an episode of Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
well,
they go out and
don't talk shit about Luke Perry. Luke Perry, let's give it up for Luke Perry. Luke Perry.
Luke Perry is a gorgeous human, and so is Jason Priestley.
Okay, all right. I mean,
I found the original episodes on Hulu.
Okay.
And I started from the beginning 3 or 4 times, and then would get like pulled away, like, oh, I have to do something productive for school, and I would hit pause and I would never come back to it, so then I would just start over again. And I still have not finished the original episodes.
I'll admit I didn't dislike 90210 as a kid. I mean, listen, Kelly was easy to look at. I'm not gonna lie. Shannon Doherty with her like weird face is still kind of cute, which hopefully she's still being healthy right now. I know she's going through like a whole cancer thing right now, like late stage breast cancer, and
I saw some update headline pop up on the TVs at the gym, and then didn't catch the rest of the story.
Yeah, I think she's just like not doing well, but I think she's still alive, which hopefully. Even though the Andrea, people are like, that's the nerdy girl. I'm like, the nerdy girl's cute. She's cute. So no, I was definitely into 90210, but it's funny, like I actually forgot all about like 90210 and Luke Perry until I had kids. And
they watch Riverdale.
No, I don't know. No, we never watched Riverdale.
First season was good. Cole Sprouse was on it.
Okay. Oh, the fucking like Kid and Cody, like whatever, the fucking Sweet Life. Okay, there you go. Why do I know that?
9-year-old me had the biggest crush on Cole Sprouse.
Okay.
19-year-old me agreed.
There you go. Well, so wait, did 19-year-old Megan have a crush on like 10-year-old Cole Sprouse?
No,
because
that
would be
Riverdale.
weird.
That would be weird.
But
one that was like a whole adult.
Okay, all right, good. At least you let them get to adulthood. So, but like I forgot all about Luke Perry until when I had kids and we were watching Johnny Bravo on the Cartoon Network.
He was on that?
No, but Johnny Bravo loved Luke Perry.
Oh.
Everything was Luke Perry. Oh, I gotta be like Luke Perry. Look at Luke Perry. He's so handsome. Look at him. Oh, I'm gonna look like Luke Perry. Oh, yeah. I think actually he did do a little guest on it. Actually, I think they actually had him on, an animated one, obviously. But yeah, that I was like, oh fuck yeah, Luke Perry, man. I forgot Luke Perry was cool as fuck. And he was also like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie with actually Pee Wee Herman's in it, and Donald Sutherland, and I cannot remember the woman who played Buffy. Cannot remember her name. This is gonna fucking kill me. But at any rate, he was also like the male lead in that as well, and he kind of just like disappeared for a while and then showed back up on Oz, and then I think when they rebooted 90210, he was on that briefly too. So but it was weird how he just kind of just. Like, hey, I'm dead. Like, wait, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So
they did do that really nicely on Riverdale, where to like phase out his character because he had died. Like, they had this whole dramatic send off for him.
Oh, did they? Okay.
It was actually nice. It was very similar to what they did on Glee when Corey Monteith died.
Okay. All right.
Not like
Corey Monteith. Yep.
Not like super tacky like they do on General Hospital.
God, I can't believe General Hospital is still on.
Nobody ever stays dead on General Hospital. Yeah. My grandmom was just telling me that one of the characters who has died like 8 times is now back again.
Oh, okay.
As the same actor.
There you go. Is it Patrick Duffy?
No, it's whoever plays Jason.
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I don't know any of the actors. I only know their faces.
Yes. I will say this too. Like listening to this album, like I was really pleasantly surprised by it. I liked it. To the point where like I think I need to dive back into the Goo Goo Dolls. I need to actually like get in like and listen to them, at least the first 6 albums or the first 5 albums, because I know this is their 6th release. Because I'm like, okay, this like, and it's like the B-sides and the other stuff. It's like, all right, what have I been missing like all this time? You know, I mean, because there's just like, what's this? Oh yeah, so I did, and you had mentioned, I did mention in the Sam I Am episode, I was just kind of like a excuse me, there is a direct line between the Goo Goo Dolls and Clumsy, and I think there's also like a Sam I Am direct line back to it from this album. You know, you know, so it's, excuse me, oh god, the burping beer. Yeah, no, I was really happy about it, and again, and songs I didn't know, and it's just like one of those things. Like I wrote off so many like bands at the time, because you get into that, like I almost like, I mean, you know this is, do you teach sophomores?
I teach almost exclusively sophomores.
Okay, so you know how sophomores know everything.
Oh, always.
Yes. So that's how I kind of look at it, is like, I went through a period of my life where like musically I was a sophomore, where like this music's stupid and that's that, and I'm not listening to this and this is dumb. And like I'm glad like now, especially doing the podcast, where I get to go back and like listen to some stuff that like, you know, I would like, and you know, yeah, Adam's picked some albums where I'm still like, why the fuck did you make me do this, aka Say Anything, you know, or fucking Steel Train, you know.
Steel Train, I don't think I've.
Oh god, it's so...
Say Anything was the one I had. Yeah, I had interesting thoughts on that one.
Did you?
I did.
Okay, let's hear them. Let's hear your thoughts on Say Anything.
Say Anything, when I went to play it, I recognized the cover because there was this guy I talked to in college that made me a CD for my car that had, I couldn't remember what song he put on it, but I recognized the cover because when I went to put the CD on my phone to
yeah,
play
it brings
with, like,
up the
headphones
covers
and all,
and shit, yeah.
It brought up the cover, and I thought that's kind of a weird cover. And then I pulled it up on Spotify. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's the Trevor Douglas cover. Okay. Interesting. Okay. The guy really sounds like he's trying to be Gerard Way in the first song.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And you used the phrase genre copycatting. I noticed a lot of that.
Yes.
It was kind of like the singer wanted to be in MCR, but the guitar player wanted to be in Nirvana or Red Hot Chili Peppers.
In other words, it sucks, is what you're saying.
It wasn't bad,
yes,
but I think it was that, like, I think I was giving it more the benefit of the doubt because of that nostalgia of, oh, I know this song because of this particular time in my life.
Okay. All right. So Boy gave you a CD, mixed CD.
Yeah.
I did mixtapes. I think I did a couple mixed CDs. So, but you know, but then I got married, so I wasn't making mixed CDs for anybody. So, but no, I've made my fair share of mixtapes in the early 90s and mid 90s when I was in high school. So, you know. Yes. Good times.
It was an eventful time.
Now I write records about my divorce. So so that's where mixtapes and mixed CDs get you. Oh man. So what else? What else you thinking about this album here? What else you got there?
I have? I did look up little random tidbits about Iris. I had always loved that song. 13-year-old me loved it. I think it was just one of those, like, I'm listening to it late at night and I'm exhausted and it's just kind of like a vibey kind of a song.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can see that. Yeah.
And
it's relaxing.
Yeah. But the chorus just hits really hard with the I just want you to know who I am. Like, I want you to see the real me for what I actually am, because so few people actually do.
Or you want to be Angel Nicolas Cage and you just want Meg Ryan to see you that you're stalking her because I want you to see that I'm Nicolas Cage. I'm crazy. I'm a crazy stalker.
No, it was something about like the quote from the band on the Wikipedia page was that like it was this, wow, you love somebody so much that you're willing to give up your immortality just to be able to see them.
So
and spend your life with them.
Like an angel on
on
a lamppost.
So it said it was specifically written for that movie.
Oh, was it? Okay, that I didn't realize. Yeah, I didn't.
No, it was written for that movie with Nicolas Cage's character in mind. But it was named after country folk singer-songwriter Iris DeMent.
Okay.
Who I have no idea who that is. I didn't delve into that
Yeah.
rabbit hole because I needed to decipher more short answer handwriting.
I hear you.
But
I hear you. You should see my handwriting here.
I can read that better than half of the tests that are still sitting on my desk.
That's pretty impressive because I write like a 2-year-old. So yeah, no, I mean so the one thing I will say about this album is like I actually don't feel like I wish Acoustic Number 3 was not on this album.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it fits. For two reasons. Number one, it's just so different from the rest of the album. I don't care that it doesn't have drums in it. It's just a real departure from the rest of the album, and the riff is almost the exact same riff. And I'll play it for you when we're off the air here.
Okay.
It's almost the same exact riff as the Big Star song 13. And so go look that up. Go look up Acoustic Number 3 by the Goo Goo Dolls and look up the song 13 by Big Star, and it's like almost the same exact riffs.
I mean, if we're getting technical, it also starts kind of like a slower, less bouncy version of Minority by Green Day.
Okay, yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, I can see what you're saying. Yeah.
But as Ed Sheeran proved it on the witness stand with his guitar, there are only so many ways you can put together chords to sound good.
Yeah, no, that is true. There are like, you know what I mean. There's only like when you think about it, there's only what, like, it's like 7 notes. Do you know what I mean? Like, really, you know what I mean? And it's just which key you're doing them in. You know what I mean? And the chords are, yeah, you can do X amount with chords and this, that, and the other thing. And you know what I mean? There's minors and sustains and diminished and majors and flat and da-da-da and sustained seventh and all this kind of shit. Which if you know jazz, you end up having like 10 fingers on one hand and you can play these crazy chords that are like in the middle of the neck. Or you're an idiot like me who can play, like, I know how to play 10 chords, maybe 15 chords, and like that's what I know. So yeah, so there's only so much you can really do, and there is a difference between like a flat out like rip off of something and like, dude, it's fucking similar because it's the same. I mean, one of the perfect examples of that is if you listen to John Mellencamp's ROCK in the USA, and then listen to the Romantics, What I Like About You. It's the same fucking song.
And that's why we play those two together.
Dude, okay, so here's the best part. My brother's cover band, my brother Mike, who was a friend of the podcast and on the one of the random episodes we did about Styx Paradise Theater, his old cover bands used to do a medley of those two songs. Yep. And it was just like, oh yeah, okay, there you go. But I mean, it's basically the same fucking song. It's slightly different, but I mean, it's the same exact thing when it comes down to it. So But no, yeah, that is the thing. I would take Acoustic Number 3 off just because I don't think it fits with the rest of this album. I mean, the album's like 13, 14 tracks. You can lose one. I'd lose that one. Okay. You know what I mean? Like to take it off. And it's funny because it's actually not even my least favorite.
Really?
Yeah, it's not. I'm not giving away anything there. It's actually not my least favorite. I have another song that's my least favorite. I think Acoustic Number 3 would have been better off as like a B-side to like a single.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like if you released like on a 45, if you release Black Balloon, then you put fucking Acoustic Number 3 on the other side, but it doesn't go on the album, you know?
Okay.
Which sometimes that happens. Excuse me, when you look at certain bands and sometimes their most famous songs are released as singles or released as B-sides, like the Pogues, Rainy Night in Soho was not an album, it was not released on a full-length album.
Oh.
It was the B-side to, it was from Rum Sodomy. I forget what the song was that was released on the 45, but Rainy Night in Soho was the B-side. You know, so it wasn't actually listed. It wasn't actually released on the original version of the album, and so like you have that, or the song, what the fuck is their name? It's not Crowded House. Maybe it is Crowded House. I don't know. Don't You Forget About Me. That actually, that was that was only released on a 45. That was never released. Yeah. So if you have a 45 of Don't You Forget About Me, that you have an original only pressing of that 45 because it was never released on a full-length album. They never, like, the band never put that on a full-length album. They released it as a single and then went into the Breakfast Club and you know what I mean, everything took from there, but it never went on an album.
Movie.
Yes, there you go. So sometimes that happens, and so like that's what I'm saying, like Acoustic Number 3 is a good song. I just don't think it fits on this album. But also at the same token, we're talking, this came out in 1998. They were kind of done with releasing 45s.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They you know, everything was CD, and so, you know, and of course most albums, because, you know, when you have a 33 and a third album, the most minutes you can get per side is roughly 18 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
So that's why a lot of albums from like the conception of records coming out to, like the late 80s, early 90s only have 10 to 12 songs or 10 or 11 songs because you can only fit so many without going to a second disc. Okay. Which is why come, mid 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, when everything was moving to CDs, you'd have these fucking 20 song albums come out, you know what I mean? And so on and so forth. And these like, because you could fit so much more on a CD. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so it does like make sense that like, that's probably why they included it, because they could. Yeah. But ultimately, just because you can do something, should you?
It depends.
It depends, exactly.
I mean, if we ask Nicolas Cage, then yes, we should, in fact, steal the Declaration of Independence.
Well,
just because we can doesn't mean we should.
Yeah, well, why would you not steal the Declaration of Independence? I mean,
clearly there's a treasure map on the back.
There is, and what's cool is like being from Philadelphia, you get to go down in Independence Park and be like, that's where he was climbing across the fucking. There's where the glasses were up there. So what's actually funny is that one scene where they're in the store was actually filmed in Urban Outfitters. That was at it's an Anthropology now, assuming it hasn't changed, but it's at 17th and Walnut, and it was Urban Outfitters at the time. There? Yeah, that's right. But it was an Urban Outfitters at the time. The Urban Outfitters is now down the street in Walnut. Okay. But it was an Urban Outfitters, switched to Anthropology. But yeah, so that's actually filmed in that store there. So which is cool. There's like I mean I love Philly movie shit. Mm-hmm. So I'm all over it. I'm all over it. So what else do you have? What else are your thoughts on this album?
I think anything else that I say would get into my top three or bottom.
Okay. All right. Cool. So I will tell you, and I know like, so we did talk about this like a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And you'd picked this album and you said, listen, I'm giving you plenty of time. I want there to be a Regina factor.
Yes.
Because usually we do not do Regina factors for random episodes because a lot of times it is like kind of like last minute, like, you know what I mean? So I don't really necessarily get a chance for her to listen to them. But I did get a chance to listen to this for her, and I will tell you a couple stories. Number one, I will just say she did like it.
Good.
Okay. She is, as I mentioned a couple episodes ago, she is getting a little more difficult as she's getting older. She's 15 months old now. So it's getting a little, she's not having quite the same reactions to stuff. But like, so I got to kind of look at like what she's doing. So she definitely listened intently to the album, and that's kind of like one of the things that like you kind of go, it's like she wasn't really singing or dancing or anything like that, but you can tell, like, what this girl's thinking by like the looks on her face. You saw her at dinner tonight, you knew she loved those fucking beans, and she didn't say a word because they were all over her face.
She was enamored.
She's like, yep, I'll take those. So she was definitely listening intently to it. So what I will say is two actually funny things happened today with it. So we had the doctor's appointment today. Mm-hmm. She had her checkup this morning, and we went, and she had to get 2 vaccines, and she was obviously upset. She was pissed off. Mm-hmm. We get in the car, and we had listened to it on the way to the doctor's appointment. She kind of like dozed off, which is normal for any baby in a car. Mm-hmm. But afterwards, she was off, and she just had that pissed off look on her face, and I had it on, and she just still had the pissed off look in her face. She was still listening, but she's like, I have fucking shots. But I guess this is all right. You know what I mean? To the point where I'm like, I wonder, does she actually dislike it? So I put on Hairspray, which is usually to go to. Hairspray, Little Shop of Horrors. I put on Hairspray, and she still had the same pissed off look on her face. So I'm like, okay, all right. It's not like she like all of a sudden like snapped out of it. No, okay. So like the previous thoughts of like, okay, I think she likes it, definitely like I think stand true. It's just that she was pissed off because she
understandably
she had 2 shots this morning. Now the other funny thing was, because she was a little discomfort from the shots, and like did sleep on the way to the doctor. She didn't take her more normal nap. Mm-hmm. She was getting a little cranky. So I told Katie, I'm like, we're going for a ride. Which, so I put her in the car. I threw on the album because I also wanted to get one more full listen through. She did fall asleep right away, but it was because she was tired and she missed her nap. Mm-hmm. But the album ends, and like, how Spotify sometimes just goes to something else. Yeah. And it went to the Beastie Boys. Uh-huh. And her eyes opened up like, what is this? Do you know what I mean? So it's like, even though she's sleeping, she knew there was music, and she was comfortably sleeping to the Goo Goo Dolls going on. But as soon as it was over, it was like, what did you do? Why did you change this? You know what I mean? So
that's a very drastic shift.
Yes,
yeah,
it was pretty crazy. I thought it was weird too, but yeah, so that definitely it goes with a down as a like in the Regina factor.
Okay.
It doesn't go into the official stats.
I think it still counts.
There you go. So what are your top 3 songs?
I had trouble with this.
Okay.
I don't do the whole decision making thing to begin with. This was hard. So I listened start to finish several times. Quite honestly, this has been playing all day on my Spotify.
Okay, cool.
All day. Because my 2 podcasts that I listen to, I'm caught up on, which is yours.
Okay.
And I had started listening to one that's called Soaring Highs and Crushing Lows.
Oh, okay, that sounds good.
Oh, it's hysterical. Shout out to Fran, who is the host of Soaring Highs and Crushing Lows.
Okay.
They are so entertaining. It's I took it as kind of similar to Seinfeld, where it's like all of these crazy life experiences that have happened.
Okay.
But like a very, it's a show about nothing, but like this ridiculous thing happens in the midst of nothing sort of a situation. They're bite-sized little 25-30 minute easy listen.
Nice.
Highly recommend.
They're not like hour and a half podcasts like the Country Hipster podcast.
They are not 3 hour long episodes.
We only have one of them.
Since I'm caught up on my 2 podcasts and both of them come out on Thursdays, this was all I listened to today.
Okay. Nice.
I did a start to finish on multiple occasions. When I got in the car at the end of work, I took the Adam approach and hit shuffle to see, did that change any of my opinions. It took me a while to weed things out.
Okay.
And I still ended up with 4.
It happens.
I still ended up with 4.
I will give you a hint. I actually have 5.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I have 2 honorable mentions, but you could have honorable mentions.
I started with 7.
Okay. All right.
I thought
so like over half the album.
Yeah. This is a little excessive. It doesn't make sense. So we'll narrow it down a little bit.
All right.
In no particular order, my top 4 were Broadway, Black Balloon, Iris, and Acoustic Number 3, although that one could use a better name.
Yeah, okay.
I'm in agreement with you guys where we don't love song 2 as a title.
Yeah, it's like, come on, think of something. You know
like you put in all of this effort, you came up with something good, like do it the honor of giving it a real name.
I honestly have a song that I wrote over 5 years ago now that I still haven't named. Because I can't think of I can't think of a name for it. So like I play it in my solo shows all the time, and I'll say it all the time. I'm like, if anybody asks, like sometimes people are like, what? Oh, what was that? I'm like, I wrote it. I still haven't named it. Like, you should name it this. I'm like, yeah, I don't like that name. Yeah. So, but like, I'm not gonna just throw like some like, stupid like song on Capo 3 with a name minor. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that's just stupid. Like I'm like, I don't know. I'll think of a name at some point. But yeah. So sometimes it takes time, and I think it's it's lame to be like Elliott Smith did a lot of that stuff, like Waltz Number 3, or which is granted. Okay, I will say Waltz Number 3 is actually probably one of my favorite Elliott Smith songs.
Okay.
But I hate the title. So, you know what I mean? But he is notorious for that, like all over. It's just like, song in G or stuff like that. It's like, come on, man. You got really good lyrics there, man. Like, come on. You can pull something from there. So, but, Elliott Smith. We got to give it for Elliott Smith. So, are you familiar with Elliott Smith?
Did you guys do one of his already?
We have not.
No?
We have not. I've talked about him a few times.
That's probably why.
I tell you what, I would check him out if you're not familiar with Elliott Smith. Like, I would look at his like essentials, or like his like I think it's actually called the Essential Elliott Smith. Take a listen to that. If you like the Essential Elliott Smith, then like dive into his individual solo albums. I actually like his previous band Heat Miser more. They're more rocky. Not that Elliott Smith wasn't rock, but he did like a more acoustic stuff, a lot more melodic stuff. Whereas Heat Miser was almost like a punk indie rock type of band. But definitely I would suggest checking out Elliott Smith.
Cool.
To anybody out there, not just Megan. So. So I'm sorry. So let's go over those again. What were your top 3?
I had Broadway, Black Balloon, Iris, and Acoustic Number 3.
Okay. All right. So my top 3 and then 2 honorable mention. I have Am I Gone?
Okay.
Which I think is just a fucking phenomenal, like, just like fucking pop punk song. I think it's just a great song.
That was a contender for a while.
Broadway's on there for me, and January Friend. Those are definitely my top, like, bang. These are my top three, and then my two honorable mentions are Extra Pale and Black Balloon.
Okay.
You know, so those were definitely my honorable mentions. So least favorite. Oh, you got words.
Oh, I had notes.
Oh,
I
got words.
Notes.
You know what? Go for it.
So, I think my least favorite was January Friend.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of this guy's vocal style. It kind of sounds like he's trying to be Tom DeLonge, but a little grungier, who maybe smoked a couple more packs of cigarettes.
No, I could see that. No, absolutely. I don't think you're wrong.
But at the same time, like, it doesn't work great on January Friend, but he got it together by the time we got to Am I Gone?
Yep.
And I like that one.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge fan of Extra Pale. I don't really have a particular reason. It was just kind of blah.
Okay. All right.
It didn't really do anything for me.
That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. My least favorite is actually the first song, Dizzy.
Really?
Yeah, like, and that was the funny thing too, because like the first time listening to this, you know, I'm already like, oh, we're doing the Goo Goo Dolls, huh? And then Dizzy's on. I'm like, oh god, we're doing this. And then Slide came on. I'm like, oh, we're really doing this.
Yep.
And then Broadway came on. I'm like, oh, I forgot about this song. It's like, oh,
A little bit of redemption.
wait a minute. Okay, shit, this is a good song. I think I do like this song. And then you know, and then it went. I think Am I Gone is actually after that, or maybe it's January Friend.
January Friend.
January Friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, all right, this is different. You know what I mean? So it kind of went from there. To the point where, honestly, a lot of the times where I listened to this over like the last like few weeks, I've actually skipped Dizzy and Slide.
Really?
And just went and just started right with Broadway. Just like Slide, and actually I wouldn't put Slide actually even as a dishonorable mention.
Yeah.
I've just heard it so many fucking times.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that's my thing with Slide. It's just like, yeah, it's actually a good song. I just don't want to hear it. It's like Mr. Jones by the Counting Crows is a good song, but I don't want to hear Mr. Jones again.
Yeah.
Blister in the Sun by the Violent Femmes is a good song, but I don't want to fucking hear it again. You know what I mean?
It threw me for a loop when we started playing that on Sunday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It hasn't come up in a while, but we also haven't had a whole lot of full band gigs in a while.
I hear you.
And the couple we have done were like, has to be heavy Irish because it's a St. Patty's Day
Yeah.
fundraiser.
No, I hear you. I just Blister in the Sun, like I talked about it on the Violent Femmes episode. Like it's a good song and it's in its place. I get it, start hit. There's so many better songs on that album, and that's kind of how Slide is. It's like, okay, yeah, I know Slide. I don't have to listen to Slide again. I don't have to listen to Iris. I can fucking throw on like commercial radio and hear those songs. I can throw on satellite radio and hear those fucking songs too. So that's why I would skip Slide. But Dizzy, I just didn't like, and it just, you know what I mean. So like even like I listened to it twice today. The first time going like to and from the doctors, and then the second time when me and Regina were taking the nap ride, and I skipped Dizzy the second time for sure when I was putting on, because I knew she would fall asleep. I'm like, I'll just go right to Slide. Yeah. But as few times I listened to it, I definitely skipped those first two songs. So yeah. So but I want to say thank you actually for not only for being on here, but like bringing this album up, because like again, I now like this is like one of those things where it's like now I definitely want to go back and check out like at least the first 5 albums of the Goo Goo Dolls, because I'm like, okay, what have I missed? Because like this was like, I know like Name was a hit on the album before this, which I forget what it was called. I think it came out in 97, 96 or 97.
With the baby on the cover.
Yeah, and like I'd heard Name before and I knew it, you know what I mean? But like, again, I never looked into any of the B-sides with that or any of the additional tracks. But like hearing this and hearing some of these additional tracks, I'm like, fuck, I actually like these, and I actually like this sound. And this is like the type of alt rock where even, and it's kind of like stupid for me, because even at that time in the late 90s, I liked that type of alt rock. Do you know what I mean? But because of the hits, I was like, fuck these hits. Like, fuck these songs. Like, let's hear punk rock, or let's hear indie rock, or something that's not on the fucking radio. Whereas if I listened to this album, I actually would have heard songs that I liked. Yeah. So it makes me want to go back then and like now be like, okay, what else did I miss? Now I'm as what happens is with a lot of these bands is once you get to that like mega hit, you try to keep recreating the mega hit. Yeah. So I'm gonna kind of guess that's what the Goo Goo Dolls continued doing from that point on. So I don't know if I'm gonna listen to like albums 7 through whatever they're up to right now. But I definitely want to go back and listen to the first 5 albums, which I that's one of the things I love about doing this podcast, and one of the things I personally wanted to get out of the podcast, as well as these random episodes, is like discovering music that I either wrote off or just didn't know about, you know, and so thank you for bringing that to me, and I really appreciate it. So, you know, so do you got anything else to say about the Goo Goo Dolls or Dizzy Up the Girl?
Yeah, it's been about a year since I did my whole go through the entire discography. I do remember that their self-titled from '87 was very different sound than this one. It was a little on the heavier, more like strictly rock kind of a side. Which
is kind of cool, because when you look at bands like the Replacements, what the Replacements ended up in, when you listen to their first release, Stink, it's too fucking different. I mean, it's all the same members.
Yeah.
And it's 2 fucking different things. You know what I mean? So like when you look at like when you listen to Replacement Stink and then you listen to All Shook Down, you wouldn't think they're the same band. So that has me intrigued as well.
Yeah, it was interesting, especially because I was so used to this is the Goo Goo Dolls as Dizzy Up the Girl.
Right.
And Goo Goo Dolls self-titled was very much not that. It is not the same Iris Slide kind of a feel.
So I have a feeling I'm probably gonna like it. So
probably.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
I think you probably will.
Cool.
I think their second one was pretty similar to that too. And it was like the 93, 95 albums where they got a little closer to what we recognized from pop radio.
Right.
I would recommend their 2013 album Magnetic.
Okay.
That's the one that kind of reintroduced me to, this is that band that Dad played a couple hits from. It would come on the radio when I was in high school, and I ended up listening to the rest of it and thought it was pretty good.
All right. Cool. Yeah. That is awesome. So no, I really appreciate you coming on and bringing that to us. So since you know this isn't part of the 25 or the 50 technically, we don't do a Discogs value on this. So you know, plus it's a CD, and boo CDs, we want vinyl. Actually, I have tons of CDs too. So I'm also like the vinyl guy who tells you, listen to it on streaming. You know what I mean? Like, and which is actually what I do a lot of times. I think I've mentioned to it before. If there's like an artist where it's like there's certain artists where like, I don't care what it is. Like if you're putting an album, I'm gonna fucking buy it on vinyl. You know what I mean? Skinny Lister's one of those bands. Trying to think who else would be like one of those bands offhand, like Fugazi. If they were to put new music out, I just buy it straight on vinyl. I wouldn't be going to anything, you know what I mean? But there are certain bands that I'll do that for. But like if there's a band I'm kind of on the fence about, I stream the album first, and then I'm like, okay, do I want to put the money, like even like, you know, playing Irish music, I love Flogging Molly. There hasn't been a Flogging Molly album in years that I've wanted to buy on vinyl because I don't think it's been as good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's still some good stuff. Don't get me wrong. I just like I don't really want that on vinyl. I don't really want to put the money out for it. Even though I can get it at wholesale, it's still not cheap. So, you know. But yeah, I am that guy who will stream it before I buy it on vinyl, or you know. So, but definitely not CDs. Fuck CDs. So
some of us are still in the market for record players.
That's true. Yeah, but you can start your collection before that. That's what I did. I was collecting vinyl for about a year before I finally had a record player to play them on. So, you know, I highly suggest doing that too. So on that note, next week's episode, Adam will be back in the Ottsville Record Garage, as well as the official bartender of the Country Hipster Podcast. Tom will be back for It's a Booze and Vinyl episode, and we are doing Neutral Milk Hotel on an airplane. I think it's over to sea or whatever the fuck it's called. Let me see. I think it's right back here. The full title, I can't fucking see. No, it's actually nowhere on the cover. Wow. So, but that is what we're doing next week on the Country Hipster Podcast. So tune in for that. And if we got nothing else, good. All right, it's time to move on.